The Danswers podcast. I am your host, Dan Donohue.
And this is Terrence Pennington.
We have a few questions that we are going to answer, but before we do, Terrence, how you been, buddy?
You know what? Not gonna lie,
Blood pressure's high.
my blood pressure is
You've
very
been
high.
talking about your blood pressure being high.
Yeah, dude. I walked in like I've been just like drowsy, kind of the whole weekend, mainly because I wasn't doing anything, but I was just drowsy and stuff. And I'm I was mad vascular. Thank goodness. It
You're
kinda
always
calmed.
you're always insanely vascular.
Yeah, it's a high blood pressure.
We both have good veins.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
No,
High blood
you don't
pressure.
think I have good veins?
I mean, I don't know.
Do you see these?
I mean, they look fine.
Dude, come on. Are you kidding me?
Those those look like
These are ropes.
injectable.
Yeah, that's right. But they're all natch, baby.
No, but yeah, I'm a little bit off. I'm feeling a lot better.
Well, okay, so I think that we've been doing the podcast as partners long. It's been 4 or 5 episodes, which is actually much longer than most podcasts
Yeah.
last, which is good. You know, we've really
Mhm.
we've weathered the storm. And I think we're starting for returning listeners are very happy to see that we've gotten a consistent rhythm down where every episode you are in a state of duress for a different reason.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's good. I think it's good to have recurring themes in a podcast. I mean, obviously, we have a few hooks to this podcast, the question answering, um, checking people on their ideologies, and also you just being in a state of peril.
Yeah, no, you're just seeing the full spectrum of a man. Very few times do
That's
you
true.
get to see just the full range of one single man. I think it's a beautiful thing. Not for me.
It's one range.
No, it's not
From
one
you.
range.
It's one range.
It's not.
You're doing it's one range, and it's peril.
No, it's not peril.
You're in peril.
2 weeks ago, when I was unhinged, I was not 2 weeks ago, but that episode.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I was in distress, but I was having a good time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You always seem to be having somewhat of a good time
Yeah,
when I see you.
yeah.
You're just in a bit of peril.
No, I'm not in.
You're just
Okay,
you're just in distress.
there is an existential, spiritual,
Yes, battle
a battle going on,
waged within you.
but I'm cool. Hey, it's
No,
not.
you're always cool.
Mhm.
Hey, do not make this seem like I am saying you are uncool.
You say that all the time.
No, I don't say you're uncool. I say you're unwell. See,
That's true.
you have 2 choices in this life. You can be uncool or you can be unwell.
You can be based or cringe. That's what you're saying.
I guess so. I guess there's 4 corners. The uncool, unwell scale, and then the based cringe scale.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like
cringe unwell might be one of the worst thing. Based unwell, cringe well, which is kind of where I fall a little bit.
Okay.
And then cringe unwell.
I'm sorry.
Or no, or cringe. Yeah, cringe well and then cringe unwell. So yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things happening on that scale, and I think we both fall in very interesting places in that scale.
You're beautiful words. I just want to say that.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
I want to say something.
Mhm.
I've been doing hot yoga lately.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of hot yoga, and I think it doesn't work for as I've started doing hot yoga, I've gotten more aggressive and I've gotten in more confrontations. And this happens to me when I start meditating too. And I think there's something wrong with me.
Do you think you're just in the zone?
Well, what it does, I only have a theory about this because I have to work this out with like a professional because it's really weird how it happens.
Okay.
But like not actually. I don't got the damn money for that. But every time I start meditating or doing yoga, I get more pissed off. And I guess the like a possible theory behind that is, well, you're already pissed off and you're just becoming present in the moment.
Yeah.
But I had a show in Glendale on Friday.
Yeah.
And after the show, I'm going to get food. So I just look up wherever the shawarma place is because I love shawarma. That's my night. That's my nice little celebratory, had a fun set.
Yeah.
Gonna get a little treat. So I
Yeah.
go to a shawarma place. I go to just this random place in Glendale.
Mhm.
There's I make a game of counting.
Okay.
There are, in the parking lot when I pull in, 5 Mercedes and 3 BMWs.
Okay.
And just a bunch of guys hanging out front, just like a bunch of like tough Eastern European, possibly Armenian dudes just hanging
Your
out.
people.
I think you know that because I've experienced this on several occasions. I think you have too.
Yeah.
You know these guys, I like to call them the kings of the parking lot.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of like neighborhoods and areas where there are guys and they are the kings of the parking lot.
Yeah.
These guys were the active kings of this parking lot where they don't own the business. They have nothing to really, it's just they found that place to hang out that night. And for some reason, everyone who walks by, they all go,
Yeah.
so I am walking into a shawarma restaurant to buy shawarma. It is me alone. Look in my whatever button down short sleeve shirt, and they're mad dogging me.
Yeah.
Like I'm walking in with whatever, like a big bouquet of flowers, but I'm holding it like a Tommy gun. Like
Yeah.
I get so mad when that like stuff happens because it's like, these guys don't know how stupid they look.
Or on the contrary,
Go ahead.
30 years ago, they invested in that business with questionable money, and now they have claim to that block.
There were like 3 or 4 separate groups of guys. There's no way.
Yeah, they all the.
You think they all have money in the business?
All the nephews.
Okay, how about this? If that is the case, they're doing a terrible job promoting the business.
Oh no,
because I walk in, all the guys just completely like mean mug me on the way into the shawarma restaurant. I go up, the person at the front desk is which I actually like this. This is something. So that was a negative. This one's a positive. The person who was working the counter was completely non-emotive and was just like, "Hello, what would you want?" That's a good sign for a restaurant. And I will say the food was amazing.
Yeah.
I think I have a theory here.
Yeah.
The more guys you have to work your way through to get to a restaurant, the better the food is.
Oh, absolutely.
If you see a restaurant and there's like several tough looking guys that are looking at you like you are not supposed to be there, if you make it through them and into the restaurant, the food will be good.
Absolutely. Look, you're just maybe okay. First, one thing, they're Armenian. Everyone knows
they might
Armenians do not smile.
It's true. I was talking to our friend George at who works at Kava Culture. He said they may have been Eastern European by my description. He was like, there's also like a big number of Eastern European guys who
they smile less.
It's neither of those places, and for good reason, historically, are not big smilers.
Yeah. They sense the Armenian off you, man. They were like, "Ooh, I can."
Oh, do you think maybe that's why they let me through? Is because they smelled the 1/18th?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it got me thinking, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Because I think as guys, one of the things that you constantly have to deal with and mitigate is like other guys' egos, because whether or not you are aware of it or whether or not you're even like directly challenging it, it's always a factor as you're kind of going through life. And I was wondering, have you been in situations where guys like puff their chest out for absolutely no reason, like where it just kind of comes up almost reflexively in this way that kind of shocks you? Because I've had a few times where that's happened.
Yeah, this is oh yeah. And I can tell you notably, it was because as you know, guys, we're from We're from Massachusetts, and Connecticut comics,
Oh,
specifically.
we haven't talked about them on the
Connecticut
podcast.
comics.
Oh my God, dude.
Mhm.
We've had so many fun conversations about Connecticut comics.
Yeah,
but never on the pod. Please continue. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so for some reason, and not to make this racial, but these are specifically Black Connecticut comics.
Terrence, I'm going to go ahead and let you know you can make things racial on this podcast.
Nice.
That's fine.
The algorithm sees my skin color.
That's fine. The algorithm understands.
strong.
The algorithm is strong.
Well, okay, so specifically, yes, Black Connecticut comics are some of the most aggressive people I have ever met. I do not understand it. I don't know if it's something in the water. I don't know. There's a notable Black comic from Connecticut out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Josh.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So there's a notable who is exactly what I think of a Connecticut Black comic.
Wait.
Mhm.
Tell me off the podcast. I don't actually know who you're talking about. I don't actually know who you're talking about.
I'll tell you.
Tell me off the pod.
Yeah, I'll tell you off the pod. He was.
I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, they are just. And I remember like one time, one of these comic dude was like 5'3". Not that that's a problem, but we were at a mic and he bumped into me, and he was like, "Yo, man, watch where you're going." And bounced out. And I was like, bro, you're wearing like, the leather jacket with like the frills. I'm like, bro, I will knock your shish kebab back, bro.
Well,
I will knock you back, my bro.
I
Don't
think-
ever.
I really do think there's this thing about like a place like Connecticut is sort of. I think a lot of people don't understand Connecticut or what it is, and I think that puts a chip on a lot of people's shoulders who are from there.
Right. It's in the shadow of New York.
I told you, I told you about that comic on the show that I did with that guy Mo Green. Because everybody needs Mo Green.
Yeah.
And there was a comic who was on the lineup who had just gotten out of jail, and
was it Alex?
Don't say the names. I don't know his names, but don't say names.
Mind you, this person I'm talking about currently in prison right now for a long time.
I don't think
scary man.
I don't think he had a name that was like normal. Or at least maybe he wasn't using his real name or whatever, but I don't think he had a name that's normal. No more real names on this podcast.
I'm snitching on everybody, bro. We're doxing everybody. This is okay.
But I got off stage and I was just like hanging out with the other comics, and we were just kind of having like a very normal hang. I knew one of the guys pretty well and like whatever. And then I said something, and then this comic laughs and goes, "Man, you kind of seem like a bitch."
You see that? Just needless confrontation. I'm just like, bro, I am from a worse neighborhood than you, and I am normal. I am a normal, well-socialized man from a bad place like you, worse than yours. I know your background. You're living much better than me, and yet you still come with needless aggression.
Well, it was. So,
I hope you get jumped.
It's funny. It was so out of left field for me that I was like, I guess, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there's a level of sort of someone being whatever mean and crazy to you where you react in anger and it makes you mad.
Yeah.
But in that moment, and I didn't know the guy was like right out of prison or whatever. But even with that, I was like, oh, this is so out of left field. It's not even making me feel angry right now. I'm just like, what?
Like, I need to understand this before any. But them. But in general, I mean, a bunch of people have getting extra. That's what we call it.
Yeah,
getting a little extra. I see that all the time.
I was in college with this kid who was like very, very what's the word I'm looking for? He was almost like if you built a person to annoy me in a lab, this is what he would be. It was really, you look back on some people in your life and you go, that person was kind of like a test for me.
Yeah.
And if I am to be a bit spiritual in this moment, this kid Like, there's no way someone has all. I've never met a person since or before who annoyed me to this level.
Mm.
And I remember one time I was just getting to know, or not even like I had known him for a little bit, and we were all hanging out in his room,
Mhm.
and he was like playing a bunch of weird, like not weird, but he was playing like Drake. He was like he was playing
Not even the deep cuts, just like
no, he was playing kind of from the what's the album where he's like sitting at a table and he's all sad. I forget the name of it. Marvin, or not Marvin's Room. That was one of the songs on it.
Take Care.
Take Care.
Take
That's
Care,
exactly.
yeah.
It was. He was playing a bunch of songs off of Take Care, and I was like he was playing a bunch of kind of like sex music off of Take Care, and I was like, whoa, man, what's going on here? And he's like, oh, I'm making a sex playlist because I'm going to visit my ex-girlfriend.
So why are you doing that here?
And I go, well, well, I reflexively start laughing, which honestly, to his credit, is like to laugh in someone's face directly is pretty. I mean, like them's kind of fighting words.
Yeah.
But I just started laughing because I thought he was kidding. Like that is. I'm making a sex playlist to go visit my. You're like 18 years old. If you were like a 40-year-old guy in a Kangol hat, I'd be like, okay, it makes sense. Yeah, make a sex playlist. But like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, bro.
But and he just goes like, get out of my room. He's like, get out of my room right now,
bro. You need to regulate yourself, bro. You going extra for no
it was
reason,
it was really, really funny to be like, I'm making a sex playlist.
You need to read the room. You need to have situational awareness. You need to have emotional regulation.
I also should have known better, and it's like, I know, but you know, I never want to, like, even if it is like to me funny in the moment. A lot of times you look back on those things, it's like, well, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, like that kind of, you know. I've done. Here's the thing. I've done and thought corny shit like that in the past. Absolutely. I just don't vocalize it.
True. I mean, that's just young cringe. I hope he's
it's
doing
young cringe.
Yeah.
He seems young like cringe.
He seems like a passionate man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Kinda
he was
dumb,
a passionate guy.
Passionate. You know.
He kicked me out of his frat house later. He invited our whole, like, we lived in a suite at the time, and he invited all of us to like this because he was pledging for a frat, and he was like, we'll get you all in. And I show up to the door. I was by myself because I would always roll by myself because I didn't have any friends or whatever. I show up and he's like hammered, and I'm like, oh, what's up, man? And he's like, you can't come in. And I was like,
he's a frat dude too?
I told you. He is a guy that was created by God to test my ability to deal with people.
That means his frat, whoever the leadership is, should be checking that.
Well, it was
like the OG. Where's your OG, bro? You should ask.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. It was like, I guess you had to say the name of two other guys in the frat to get in, and I was like, oh well, I know like you and whatever another roommate, and he was like, no, they have to already be in, and I was like, dude, you invited me to this. He was like, get the fuck out of here, and I was like, okay, bro, man.
Bro, where's your OG, bro? Where's your OG? Let me talk to him, bro.
Yeah, I wish I had you back then, dude.
I'd be like, who's the leadership here?
Yeah. I want to speak to the man.
Yeah, I want to speak to the head honcho.
But yeah, that's always like, and that was just such like a puff your chest out kind of flex for no reason sort of thing. But it always does come out of this place of sort of like blind insecurity, and I'm sure I've done it too. I don't know. The thing is, you need power to do it in like some degree, some way, shape, or form, which I've just never had. But I'm sure in some way I've done it.
I don't think so.
You don't think I have?
That just seems like kind of a dumb dude who I hope is doing well. But yeah.
Yeah, I that's one of the people where it's hard for me to look back at him and hope he's doing well. Do you have the where, like, I know to be a bit, I hope, like, I will say I hope he's doing better, but in the back of my head I'm like, I hope horrible things happen to him.
There are multiple people where I'm openly like, I hope something really terrible.
I think that's healthy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I do. You know what? We're not God.
Yeah.
We're just a couple of podcasters.
That's
We can
right.
wish demise on others.
Yeah. Hey, I'm just the tech guy who knows
Um,
no technical knowledge, but is Dan's friend.
let's scroll up because we have a couple of other preamble things that we want all the
Oh
way to
yeah,
the top, all the way to the top,
I wanted to do that too. Okay, so
all the way,
all the
because the
way.
stuff that we added.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
hang on before we go to that, I just want to mention a few things.
Yeah, please.
Let's go down here.
This is so fun. I love the fact that we're able to have like an audience for this.
Oh yeah, dude, check this out. We were talking about Eastern Europeans.
Yeah.
Miss Benson, she said literally every Texas roadhouse ever.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's everywhere. That's the thing is it is, I think it is just unilaterally male because I think it exists everywhere. It doesn't matter what like background, race, whatever. I think there's always the kings of the parking lot.
Yeah.
I think there's constantly, wherever you go, there's gonna be kings of a parking lot.
You know what's crazy? If someone's like holding down a McDonald's parking lot,
I've never seen that, but that
I have
happens.
seen that. I
Damn.
mean, it's not bad. I'm not talking down to him. I'm like, bro, that is rough.
Yeah.
I mean, you must be. It's for you to hold down a McDonald's.
This is what you defend.
No, I mean that's extra G'd up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what kind of things you're doing out here, but like you're doing a tailgate in the parking lot of a McDonald's.
Yeah, it's rough.
That is intense.
That's intense.
That's something where you got the car and you just feel like, there's a Wendy's down the street.
Why don't we start? Dude, we should start holding down a parking lot somewhere.
Dude, we will get beat up so quick.
Let's go to Texas Roadhouse.
I'm not going to Texas Roadhouse.
What about like Buffalo Wild Wings? We could hold down a Buffalo Wild Wings parking lot.
I mean, a Buffalo Wild, that's shallow ground. I mean, that's
shallow ground?
Yeah, that's like okay. I'm very bad at.
Do you mean hallowed ground?
Hallowed, yes. There you go. That's what you're here for, dude. That's what you're here for.
What, you wanted to say something else that happened in the chat?
Let's see. Here we go. Stop making fun.
Yeah, this is dead air. Terrence, scroll up. This is dead air. Scroll up.
Yeah.
Get to some of the stuff that we added because I want to get to the Patreon question.
Okay, so next topic.
The next thing I wanted to do is that there's a Patreon question that I really wanted to get to, and so if you join the Patreon, you can email me longer questions, and if you have like things that you want to extrapolate on that you can't really get to in the chat, you can join the Patreon, $5 a month. You also get an extra episode every week. Also, I didn't plug my tour dates or anything at all, but we'll get to that at the end. Who cares?
All right. Next topic. There's another topic right here.
No, we'll get to this one. So Angelina said, I get the impression from movies and the media that it's shameful for men to wear wigs or toppers. I don't know what a topper is. So they often opt for the bald option.
Okay. Oh, no. Well, yeah. Thank you. I have my reasons, but continue.
Which often doesn't suit them as well as a full head of hair would. I think it does suit you, by the way.
A full head of hair or baldness?
A full head of hair does not suit you as much as baldness. I like you bald.
Wow.
On the flip side, it seems that a huge amount of women wear wigs, toppers, or hair extensions. So my question is twofold. How would you feel about men wearing wigs or toppers? Would you recommend it to them? So let's get to that one first.
Okay. And actually, Miss Becky, thank you for telling us toppers and toupee. Yep.
So, Terrence, I don't want to speak out of turn. First of all, when did you choose to go bald?
During the quarantine. Maybe the quarantine started in, I think, February, and I think I just decided to go bald maybe October, November of that same year. I hadn't cut my hair in 7 months. It's not that I didn't want to go to a barber. I wasn't afraid or anything. I was just like, I don't want to go to a barber. I'm not scared, but I don't want to go. And I've been always trying to like go bald. That's kind of like been something I've been obsessed with.
From what? Well, like when did you start getting obsessed with that?
Since I was a kid, because like since I was like into like punk and stuff, like I wanted to kind of emulate the kind of like metal, oi skinhead, the non-racist, the oi ska.
Explain to the people that, because
Okay.
I think a lot of people will be very confused with what you said.
All right. So when people say skinhead, usually people think that kind that you're probably thinking of. But there's two separate things. There are the bad skinheads, and then there are the good skinheads, which is it kind of came from ska culture,
Right.
in Britain, and it was kind of a working class look, basically.
It was very unfortunate that it kind of got co-opted, because I think that the non-racist group was also very progressive in many ways.
Yeah, extreme.
Yeah, extremely progressive. So it's almost unfortunate to them that it got like so heavily co-opted.
Yeah, and then the bad skinheads, they were mostly metalheads, which I love metal, but they were different in a lot of ways.
Oh, wait, not to divert, but did I ever tell you about the Japanese guy with the swastika tattoo I played poker with?
That makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, right, because it's not the kind, because that's from like Eastern symbology.
Yeah,
and this dude was like, he was so old, he may have gotten it pre-World War II.
Yeah.
But it was crazy to see. It was his whole top, the whole top of his hand. And I saw it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But then I realized, like, oh, well, it's the...
Did it have the dots, or was
No, it was just straight up.
Yeah.
It was straight up. But going back to the baldness thing, so it was kind of like it had to do with your musical interests as well, right?
Yeah, just like, that's the subculture, that's the look.
Do you feel like so many men...
And then also,
yeah, go ahead,
I
sorry.
do want to add that, like, when it comes to like black dudes' hair, like maintaining waves is tough.
Oh,
I mean, it's not tough, but it's like a routine.
Oh, it's tough.
It's
when I see waves, I go, that's tough.
He's drowning.
Yeah.
My boy's drowning.
Yeah, it's tough to tread water for that long.
Yeah. And actually, Mr. Groski said it's a straight edge look. I think we already mentioned that, but thank you for putting that out. Yeah. And I was like, it's a hassle. This saves money. It's more towards, the subculture that I like. And yeah, it was a good fit. I think it was a good fit for me personally. It was actually weird. Like, people were like, you look sick, because I don't have like facial hair, but eventually people got used to it and it's fine. But what were you gonna say?
You don't feel... So I was gonna ask, like, when you shaved it, and maybe this is like a cultural thing, because I think I think Michael Jordan probably had a huge part in this, and I guess there are, like, Jason Statham is a bald white guy or whatever, but like, I feel like when I grew up, going bald was just the worst possible thing. Like guy, I mean, I have friends, and maybe this is an LA thing, but like, when they start going bald, dude, they freak out. Dudes go through so many lengths to keep their hair.
Yeah.
You'll hear the stuff guys do to keep their hair, and it's like, oh yeah, the side effects are I can't get hard anymore, and I'm impotent now, and I wake up and I have night terrors, but the hairline, it's coming back.
It's making back a comeback, baby.
It's so did you have any of that? Like, did you have any apprehension in terms of your own, like, not for lack of a better word, vanity?
No. It was either this or get like long dreads.
Yeah.
It was like that. And like, since I'm a black dude, like the bald look, it's not a strange look. It may be like an older, because like the bald black dude, that was like big in like the 90s. Well, to say like mid late 90s to like a certain point in the 2000s.
You got Seal, you got Tyrese, you got Michael Jordan. They're all operating kind of in the same...
Yeah, within the same kind of archetype.
A similar time frame.
Yeah, similar time frame. So it's not that weird for me. And I can grow it whenever I want.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's either... So yeah, it was mostly because I was lazy. It was mostly a convenience thing, which it is for most men, regardless of race or ethnicity. It's a convenience thing. It's like, I don't have to go to the barber shop. I'm saving a lot of money. That's great,
So this is really funny.
Oh, and actually, Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Bald Suit. Thank you so much.
People are being nice to Terrence in the chat. I which I don't condone, but go do whatever you want, I guess. I can never tell when a man is wearing a wig. That's a thing about me. I can never tell if a man is wearing a wig. I can never tell if a woman has extensions. So
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I not only do I not care if you're wearing a wig, I like it. Like I like the idea of a wig. It's like, yeah, I'll just put on a thing that looks like hair. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I think it's kind of like it's a difference with men and women. With men,
Go on. What do you think?
with men, you should never wear a wig. You should never wear a toupee.
Why?
You shouldn't get, the implants. You should never do that.
Oh, you don't go to Turkey?
Don't go to. Go to Turkey. Wonderful city, I've heard. Wonderful sovereign
Country.
state.
It's a country.
Sovereign state. Very ancient in a lot of history, but do not go there to get hair implants. Just enjoy Istanbul. Go to Constantinople.
Now go explain this, because this is an interesting take on your part.
It's weird.
What do you mean?
It's like, just be bald. Like, people remember in the 70s, where if you see like 70s movies or any sort of media, people are openly bald, and it's cool.
People are bald a lot in the 70s.
Not bald, but like they're balding, and
No, there's much people sort of let their hair go at a more understandable rate.
Yeah. It's all natural. It's just what happens. Like, I don't get why people, especially men, are afraid of getting older. That's as a man looking more mature, that's a net positive.
Well, I kind of go back and forth with this, and I think this is such a interesting philosophical question, because there's two fronts of this. There's the people who go, well, which I agree with both sides in this way. There's people who are like, well, do whatever you want with your body. Literally, and that means whatever you want to do. You're an adult. You can do whatever you want. You can get hair. You can shave it. You can, wear a toupee. You can wear a chicken suit. I don't care. Like, I agree with that. But on the flip side of that, there are those who say, well, the infinite desire for the look of youth is a societally perpetuated idea that has caused not only a great deal of harm to the collective psyche of people, but also bolsters up this multi-billion-dollar industry that profits off of making you feel like you don't look good enough.
Absolutely.
And so it's a two-front thing that's very confusing to me, because I would never disparage an individual from getting whatever they want, whether it be elective surgery or like wear as much makeup as you want. It's never an issue on me on the individual side. But when you look at like the whole scope of that industry, there are some troubling things. Like, and as a person who's gone through a level of like body dysmorphia myself, I can say I can't blame anyone for that. But like I definitely didn't have the psychological tools to understand what's happening to me. But like it's a difficult thing, because when I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I was kind of getting imagery and messaging that led to those things that were wrong with me, and I do wish that I had less of that.
Yeah, of course. And like, life comes in cycles. Nothing lasts forever. Like, you're preventing yourself from transforming into a new person and continuing that progression of your life.
Well, I don't think that's true though, because isn't it an expression of one's freedom? Like, isn't pushing against nature in certain ways, and I'm not saying in like an ecologically devastating way, but I'm saying like human beings as a species, we build things, we like make things different, we change things, we don't like accept kind of the lot that we're given. And to me, it's sort of an expression of free will to be like, hey, like, no, I'm not going to have wrinkles. I'm going to get this this elective surgery to make it so I have less wrinkles. This is what I want to look like. And also, when you specifically with, I women I think have way more pressure than men on this, but I
Yeah, of
think
course.
both do have a high level of, you can't underplay the amount of pressure men have too these days to look a certain way. It's like,
Yeah.
of course an individual is going to want to look a certain, because you literally get real life benefits from not aging in that way. Like,
Yeah.
if you can prevent it, your life is better, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, according to who? I mean, I
The
get what you're saying.
literally statistics.
I know.
Literally statistics. Like, statistically, if
Yeah.
you're like conventionally attractive or tall or whatever, you get like benefits in life, you get a higher
Mhm.
quality of life, you get more money.
I mean, yeah, but it's true. You can do whatever you want, and also, there are immediate benefits, but in the long, you have to outweigh the positives, the negatives, and it looks like this obsession, especially with women, it's understandable. I think women are more. I guess I wouldn't say at the mercy. That's kind of a negative
They're
connotation, but
subjected to such a high level of imagery from like from like their moment coming online, from like their moment of consciousness.
yeah,
They're just bombarded with this imagery.
yeah, and I don't think for women, focusing on your beauty, that's just look, I'm just gonna say that's just being a woman. Yes, it goes too far. The internet age has kind of made everything wacky, but that's no problem. For women, it's okay to wear a wig, it's okay to wear extensions. For men, it's something different. That's all I'm saying.
I don't agree in the separation of the two things,
There's a
just
okay.
because the distinction that's being made here
Mhm.
is, I think, like perpetuating the cycle of
Mhm.
what's happening initially with this idea of like, I the thing is,
Mhm.
I don't think you can have it one way or the, if you're saying uh it's okay for women to wear wigs, I think you should also be like, it's okay for
No.
men to wear wigs. If you're saying it's not okay for either to wear wigs, there's an ideological understanding there.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but I understand the line of logic.
Yeah.
But if you're saying it's I understand it's more socially acceptable for women to wear wigs than men to wear wigs.
Mhm.
But why? I don't. Who cares? Who cares if that's socially acceptable? There's a lot of stuff that's
Yeah.
socially acceptable that's stupid.
Yeah, true. But look,
I think what you're saying is it personally makes you a little bit icked out when
I
you see a
mean,
guy who's wearing a wig.
and I think a lot of other people.
I understand what I understand what you're saying.
And look, whether it's right or wrong,
Right.
that's up to the beholder, right?
Right.
You can do whatever you want. I'm just saying, as a man, I don't think it's healthy only as a man to do this. If you're going bald, that's a hard look. Like the bald dude with like the ponytail, like the classic bank robber, the classic,
Yeah.
just got to do
The
one
tech
last
guy.
job.
Yeah.
Not even
The guy who hacks into the bank.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's a tough look.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is tough. And why would you rob yourself from that? I mean, I get it, but all I'm saying is it's different for men. Fortunately or unfortunately, it is what it is. Men do not have to worry about looking young.
Well,
They don't.
no, yeah, I completely agree with you that
Americans.
no, I completely agree with you that men don't have to care as much about looking young, but I would push back and this is completely anecdotal in the way that I have experienced life, and I've lived in I live in the very specific city of Los Angeles, but I think there's sort of, with a lot of guys, a quiet, bitter regression into aging, where from what I see, and this is unfortunate, but like, women discuss aging and how much aging. Do you hear what Kim Kardashian said about aging?
No.
It was a very human moment from her, and like there's a lot of stuff that she has done and said that I sort of have a problem with. But she said, I would rather eat my own poop every day
Mhm.
instead of aging. Like she's quoted as saying that.
Yeah.
And while that is like kind of a wild idea for a lot of people, I think it does sort of encapsulate and capture this idea that a lot of people have when it comes to aging, specifically women, like the anxieties around it. Like I understand what she's saying there. I think with guys, there's this added pressure where even if we are concerned with our own aesthetics, we can't talk about that at risk of feeling unmanly about it, because like the archetype of a guy is I don't care what I look like, whatever. I just got to go to work every day. I don't care whatever I look like. And I understand the glorification of that and how in certain ways that is kind of healthy, like in a weird roundabout way that is healthy,
very stable.
But I think when those feelings of not wanting to age do creep into your head, I don't think there's as many outlets for those guys to talk. You know what it is? And I have seen this so often, and it's unfortunate, and I have unfortunately been a part of it. The fat friend in the guy group that gets made fun of for being fat, dude, that guy is not always cool with it. That guy is not always cool with it, but because he's a guy, he a lot of the times he's pressured. Now, I think like there is a level to that, which is just like, you know, having open discussions and stuff. It's like I think there are a lot of guys who are overweight who do own it in this very powerful way that is good, because it's like, but there's a lot of guys who are overweight in male friend groups who get made fun of by the friend group, and they're like, oh yeah, like Fat Jim, like it's Fat Jeff, like whatever. It's so normalized.
Big boy Jim.
There's a lot of women friend groups that wouldn't even think of discussing that. Wouldn't even, not to say, I don't want to delineate too much from gender, because I'm sure that like there's a lot of people who break those stereotypes. But on both sides, I'm just speaking from my own experience, because I've only been in male friend groups, and I've seen that archetype play out so many times. There's some sadness there, dude.
There is, but at the same time, I mean, that's generally how dudes bond with one another. And I know it will get too bad, but I think, like, say in that same group, if like the person became serious about, like, say, like losing weight and getting healthy, his boys are gonna jump in and just be like, yo, we got all this, gotta hit the gym, and they'll be like sensitive about it. Be like, you just start a little by little.
Sometimes.
It's just that's just like ball busting. That's how men connect with one another. And I know it goes too far.
It can, yeah, but
bad.
And also there's like there's always going to be, like, on either end of the spectrum, there's going to be going too far. But I don't know, man. I've just that guy has taken, and when I say that guy, I mean it like archetypally.
Yeah.
But in real life, that guy has taken me to the side and been like, yeah, man, I don't like it that much.
Yeah. What if you were like, you got to do something about it?
Dude, it's such a crazy world too. It's like we live in such an insane country, because like the idea to so many people of like being fat and being like made fun of is so normal.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of backlash as of lately, but that's
I mean,
been the standard.
Thankfully, but honestly, like we see backlash at but like that's still a minority of people who are backlashing against. Dude, I was at a jiu-jitsu class a little while ago, and the teacher is a really sweet woman, but she goes, all right, like it was like the day before Thanksgiving. She's like, all right, everybody, make sure you get in tomorrow. You have to earn those calories. And because I'm kind of in my own little bubble around people, especially in LA, where it's like kind of all the people I hang out with understand like the ins and outs of shit. But like to hear that, I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of thinking that got me into my eating disorder stuff.
Gotcha.
So, and I just hadn't been around that in a long time. So then to hear that, I was like, I'm not that it affected me in any way or like re-triggered me in any way, but I was like, oh, dude, come on.
That's hard. And I actually want to say, like, you guys are going wild in the chat. I love it. I wish I could.
In a negative or positive
way?
way?
In a great way.
Oh, good.
You guys are awesome, dude. I love this. Like Merkins, it stinks when you have laser hair. Okay.
Now a Merkin is a pubic hair wig, correct?
Yeah, but but what's the difference between a merkin and toupee other than like
The placement?
Yeah, the placement and probably the texture. You know what I mean?
I would hope the texture.
Yeah. No, but okay. Last thing I want to say on this,
Yeah,
like,
please.
say if we were in that same position where, like, a dude's with his friends and he's like, "Yo, I'm balding," and they make fun of him. They're just like, I'm balding, and I'm thinking of getting like the hair transplants or like, I've been reading up on this like gel that you can wipe on your head, and then of course they're gonna ball bust him. That's not bad.
I'm gonna say this. Do you know Keith Johnson, my friend Keith Johnson?
Yeah, I've seen him a few
He's
times.
one of the funniest people. I showed up to.
I'm sorry, my boy said, imagine buying a secondhand Merkin.
Damn.
I'm sorry, continue.
You could get one of those at the thrift stores in LA. There's definitely one or two of those. But I started getting cauliflower ear because I was wrestling a lot, and I showed up to the gym, and Keith was like, "Yo, what's going on with your ear?" And I was like, "Oh, I started to get like isn't it cool?" And he was like, "Man, you got to stop hanging out with white people." He was like, "That shit is not cool. Do not get cauliflower ear. You look like," and he just made fun of me. And then Malik and Jamel came, and they both made like crazy the whole day.
Yeah.
I will say, it felt really bad in the moment. I felt, not only did I feel stupid for having cauliflower ear, I felt really stupid for thinking it kind of looked cool. Since then, I started wearing like the ear protectors. Looking back on it, this was before I was really like having fun in comedy and I'm like, thank God Keith made fun of me. Thank God I had Keith in my life at that point. Because I mean, him making fun of me and not being like, yeah, that's cool, dude, and actually thinking it's stupid. But you can get yourself into trouble like that too.
Yeah.
I've ruined friendships over kind of, poking fun at people.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, in that situation, I would have been like, "Yeah, I got this cauliflower ear, but the 800 credit score, baby. Let's go." Let's get it. Well, why don't you go check your FICO score?
Oh, I would do that. I would literally, because I would get made fun of so ruthlessly. I mean, everybody would. It was really fun. I would so often just like open my Instagram and show my followers to them.
Don't do that, and then they get on you even more.
Which I would never do that in real life, but yeah, it was.
They're just like, "What's that?"
It was so fun. But this, I mean, what a great question. And this is the part 2 of the question.
Oh wow, didn't even get the part 2. So much fun.
How would you feel if you went out with a beautiful woman with a fantastic head of hair, only to realize when you wake up the next morning with her hair in the bed, that her hair is not as magnificent as it was the night before because she didn't sleep with her topper on?
She didn't sleep with the bonnet.
She didn't sleep with the bonnet. If you don't know what a topper, and then this person explains what a topper is.
Toupee.
So yeah, what I mean, I'm gonna answer for me. I actually dated a woman who had alopecia, and I didn't really care.
No.
I didn't. Hair isn't something, unfortunately, men notice. A lot.
So ladies,
we do. I mean, I guess we do, but it's like subconscious when we do notice it. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's a mixture of subconscious and it's like aesthetically beautiful at the moment. You know what I mean? It's like at the moment, but then, say in that situation, I woke up next to a lady, her wig's leaning off. I'm huddling in closer.
Oh yeah.
I'm whipping that wig off.
Oh yeah.
I'm putting it on the lamp. You know what I'm saying?
You're turning that wig into a merkin.
Oh yeah, I'm turning that to a merkin.
Don't answer calls.
It's.
Go ahead, Terrence.
Hello.
Put it on speaker. No. Put it on speaker.
Put it on speaker. Hello. Yes. I will get someone out there right now.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead, text. I'm gonna get to the. I'm gonna get to the.
out there right now. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
This is so unprofessional. I just
Uh,
go ahead. Don't call, text.
I am texting.
Text. I'm
Uh,
gonna throw this up. So we got a question in the chat from the men's perspective. What do y'all pay attention to? Like, what's the deal breaker and what seals the deal? I'm curious as hell. Um, I think I don't think there are any specifics, and I think men have such wide varying tastes that you can't really even pinpoint it, but it's certainly very superficial, right?
um, yeah,
But there's different kinds of superficial.
yeah, and I think for men, it's like, you know how they say like men's sexuality is simple, women's are more complex.
Interesting.
Yeah, I fully believe that. You know what I mean?
What do you mean by simple?
Simple as in, for men, you don't need much to be attracted to a woman.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I remember when I had that, like, really horrible room in Valley Village, and I would take women over, and then they would be kind of nonplussed by it, and I'd be like, "What do you mean? It's a room."
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, you could because I don't think that you consider the mood quite as much as so
Yeah,
it's kind of less nuanced, perhaps.
exactly. For women, it is much more nuanced. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, that's what I love about women being open about who they're attracted about, because you'll get like a curveball,
Mhm.
like every now and again it'll be something really normal. It'll be like, oh yeah, I'm attracted to Henry Cavill, and you'll be like, oh cool, and then they'll be like, and also the Philly Fanatic. And it's like, oh really? It's like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Men, very much in this way, men are, in a lot of ways, men are very simple, straightforward. You can say pragmatic, but I think that that's kind of like the character of men. So like,
Yeah, you can say it, but I don't know what it means. Yeah,
I don't
hey,
know.
go ahead and say it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. The beauty of men. Men are such efficient creatures.
Yeah, dude, we're so beautiful.
They're so beautiful.
We're so goddamn beautiful.
Get freaked out by
Um, but yeah, I think it's a great question. I think both sexes are always really concerned with it.
Mm.
But yeah, I think the more you're just kind of enacting what you want out of your life, the more you're going to be attractive to people who you find attractive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if you're really kind of putting your life into gear, and that could like be taken into a lot of broad ways, but I do remember like really lamenting like, oh why, like what, no one seems to be attracted to me, like years ago, and then I realized like, oh right, because I'm not doing anything that interests me,
Mhm.
and that's kind of the least attractive thing that you can be doing, is when you're not doing anything that you're interested in.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, no one's gonna care if you don't care. Like, I didn't really care about my life.
Yeah.
Who's gonna care about your life
Mhm.
if you don't care about your life?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's primarily what attracts the women to men. You know, you don't have to be. I think one person mentioned in the chat that, you know, a man's success is defined by his financial, you know, resources.
Not me.
Not
I'll tell you, I've done fine without.
because you're a beautiful
I'll
Adonis.
go ahead and say I have done. Well, doesn't that kind of break the whole theory though?
Break the whole theory. What?
Like, if women are attracted to men's financial standing.
No. That's kind of the outward project. That's kind of like the socialized projection. But really, for men, if you're motivated by something, if you have like inner drive, women will come to you.
We're kind of getting into listen here, fellas territory.
Listen here, fellas. It's
No,
always
no.
listen here, fellas.
No, we're kind of getting into a bit. I don't see, that's such an oversimplification. That's why I hate podcasts that will talk about, like, bro, you know what attracts women to me is the fact that I have 10 Lamborghinis and 50 Ferraris. And it's like, yeah, you're attracting a certain kind of woman with that,
Mhm.
but to be like, oh, this is the form. It's like,
No, it's not.
What a sad.
It's sad. It's a sad
Sa-
materialistic existence. It's a mentality of surplus where the
Yeah.
more you have, the better, which is bad, especially in today's times. Surplus is bad.
Yeah. Well, I think it should be seen as kind of tacky too.
Mhm.
Like there, when we think of gluttony,
Mhm.
a lot of the times I think that we specify it to food, but I think that it can be put in like other people's lives too. Like at least I feel that whenever I see somebody who's like living in a level of opulence that is sort of whatever, you look at it, you kind of get grossed out by it. I think gluttony, like I think it is gluttonous to live at that level of material existence.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just don't think it's cool. Like I've never like, and I'm not saying like have a mansion or whatever, but I'm talking about like the 10 mansion guys
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the
The 10
45 sports
McMansions.
cars and the image I got. It's like,
It's like the dude like saying, "Yo, you can make money just like me. This is my Lamborghini right
yeah,
here."
dude. That stuff really does
Mhm.
bum me out.
Yeah.
It does, and it's like it's a specific kind of symptom of the times we live in, but it does bum me out
Yeah.
because it's like you listen to those guys talk, and it's like, man, no amount of money can make you not annoying. No amount of money. They haven't invented a surgery for it yet. They haven't invented a cure for it yet. You can't like, but it really does kind of bum me out when you see those guys talking because you just know there's so many. I mean, I was one of them. Like, there's so many just young people listening to that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people grow out of it. It's not, everyone gets their deeper
It's
meaning
true.
once they get older.
It's true, but I mean, it does kind of bleed into, and again, like it's a nuanced discussion, and I'm not saying anyone is specifically bad, but
That's like a great
Yeah.
that's like the great philosophical question of our times.
What is that?
Just what we're talking about there,
Right.
the material versus the metaphysical. You know what I mean?
Well, this is who talked about the Kim Kardashian quote where I'm gonna Nikki Glazer was the person brought up who's a comedian that I really like, and she was discussing like the idea and the stuff that like the Kardashians do sell, just talking about like materialism and the material reality of like what people strive for.
Mhm.
And she was talking about how like the Kardashian family clearly has a lot of plastic surgery and they are not open about it, which is fine. You don't need to disclose plastic surgery that you've had. But the issue is when you're selling products
Mhm.
that relate to beauty
Mhm.
and you are using yourself as a spokesperson for those products
Mhm.
that are geared towards very young people,
Mhm.
you're really, really kind of doing this this like shell game
Mhm.
of it where it's like, no, it's the makeup that, and it's like behind closed doors you have access to this level of like, surgery and aesthetics that none of the people who are buying your products have access to, and yet you are claiming they're gonna like make them look like it. So
No.
and also they're not saying it's gonna make them look exactly like you, and but I think of it as if you're a athlete or a person who is selling perform like a sports like a protein powder or whatever,
Mhm.
and you go, this is all I use, like blah blah blah, and you're doing
Wrong.
steroids. It's like,
Wrong.
yeah, well that's disingenuous. I'm not, it's not like it's illegal, or maybe it is, I don't know, but it's like it's disingenuous at least. And once you have that much money, can't you afford to be a little bit moral?
Yeah.
Can't you afford
Mhm.
to do the right thing sometimes?
Yeah. You sometimes, this actually brings up an argument about like our because like nobles back in the medieval age, they had power, but they had a responsibility, and in war, most of them died off. But
Oh, the nobles did.
yeah, the nobles.
Interesting.
The nobles. And that even went up to like World War One. Like the most casualties you saw in World War One were from officers who came from noble families because that was their duty.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So like, yeah, look, if you get money, bro, you
But
need
that
to.
but that kind of flipped though, because you don't
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that
yeah.
as much nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. It's just kind of hoarding, and I mean that's fine. Get your money, but your noble status, bro. You need to come with the sword and shield and protective. You need to not Batman, not beat up homeless. Please don't do that.
What are you talking about?
Look, ladies.
Oh, you're saying battle homelessness?
No. Just like try to have a greater purpose to help people out. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Here's what I'll say. Men, if the wig falls off,
Yeah.
pick that right up, just put in your pocket and get it in.
But
you know what I mean?
You're sort of saying like the nobility of a certain time used to have also a level of responsibility.
Exactly.
Because it was stated like squarely, these are the people in the caste system above you, where it's kind of like there's kind of coding and messaging that is stating that now, but it's not as like as direct.
Yeah.
So it's difficult for people to kind of understand that we still live in essentially in many ways a caste system.
I mean, not all that, but yeah. I mean, that is true. I'm just no. That what my
when
point
so
is.
many crimes are punished with like fines and like you have to spend money to like you can spend money to get the best lawyers and stuff, and rich people get off with crime scot-free. It's like I don't see any more direct messaging that there is a caste system involved. There are certain laws that apply to certain people that do not apply to others.
Okay, yeah, of course.
You know? But
all I'm saying is like say if you're a Kardashian, I think you have a responsibility to put a better message out there. You know what I mean?
I just don't see like it and maybe this is just something that's confusing to me that I don't understand, and maybe like the consumption of power. Like for instance, I would never promote a gambling website.
Oh,
I would just never do that. I gamble.
Unless
I gamble. I play poker. I would never promote a gambling website. I would never like do direct advertising for a gambling website, because it's like, well, the whole idea of this is like, I know what gambling is. It's trying to get people. Like, I think it's fun. If you enjoy it, do it. I'm just not going to promote it. I just like, I don't think it's bad. Obviously, like I do it, but I'm just not going to promote it.
You ain't trying to get money, bro?
Well, that's what I don't understand is like if I have that level of whatever, like how does someone with $1 billion not go, oh god, yeah, I guess I just won't promote this? But it's
that's true. That's true.
It's
that
insane to me.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Like how much, like just tell the like little girls that follow you that want to look exactly like you, oh yeah, I get like all this, these are the treatments I have done. You're not gonna look like this. You're not gonna look like this from becoming anorexic, which so many of them are doing because they want to look like you. It's like it's wild to me.
But
and by the way, if I ever get cheek implants or a chin implant, first of all, you'll know.
It's gonna extend like
second of all, I'll talk about like it's just nuts to me.
Okay, so you're saying with that kind of freedom of will,
yes,
it comes with, what I'm hearing is with freedom of will, you should have that. Anyone should do whatever they want, but they should be more responsible. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, it's like I'm not even really making a bold statement here. I'm saying I literally don't understand it, and I wish I did. Like I literally wish I understood what compels people who already have $1 billion. But that's the mindset that has literally caused the world we live today, is people do have that mindset where even when they have enough money and leverage to do the right thing, they actively choose to go the opposite way to make a little bit more money. And that's not just like absolutely billionaires do that, who are like incredibly harmful to the overall economic system that we're in. But also, people at a smaller scale will do that all the time.
Yeah. Okay, you guys at the chat, you guys are so wonderful. You guys are just
throw one up there
because
we gotta switch over to the Patreon, which please follow us there. It's in the link tree. Also, find a comment. I just have to plug my stuff, so throw something in the chat. I am going to be performing stand-up comedy in Des Moines, Iowa, Kansas City, Dayton, Kentucky, which is basically Cincinnati, and Springfield, Missouri. Those tickets are all in my link tree. I also have tickets live for Seattle. Seattle tickets are live. I wish I promoted that at the beginning of this episode. I might add a bonus episode just to promote those dates, and also, just have a regular episode. But please check all that out in the link tree. Terrence, what do you got?
Okay, I'm just going to close it out with something, just a beautiful statement. Did we already discuss butts? We did not discuss butts.
I get. Well, we talked about Kim Kardashian, which that's very butt forward. But I guess we didn't directly talk about butts.
Yeah, it's important. And actually, I kind of like posted as kind of like just a funny.
What's your butt like?
It is kid in the playground when I was a kid.
Yeah,
they would say I'd have little crabby patties.
Little crabby patties.
Yeah, they describe my butt as
like it's big.
No, it's small.
Oh, it's small. Oh, you have little crabby patties.
Got little was it castle little sliders.
Yeah, you know I mean? White Castle burgers.
I got little White Castle sliders, lady.
That's okay.
Hey, nothing wrong with concave. Is concave in or out?
Concave's in.
Nothing
Convex is out.
Nothing wrong with concave. I'm doing the live. Nothing wrong with concave. But yeah, I mean that's actually, when you think about it, that's a deep question.
It is a deep question
because that's like the changing, how beauty trends change, and
butts are now a more popular thing.
Yeah,
which great. This is what's so funny is like, I got into an argument with an ex-girlfriend about this, where I actually came around on her side, where she said, like, it's Doja Cat is great body representation for women who have a different kind of figure. And I in the moment, I had the reaction that looked like you had, where it's like, but she has like a insanely like perfect. But here's what's so crazy is I've been listening to this this podcast called Maintenance Phase, and listening to it, I kind of came around to what she was saying, because even though it's true that she has like an insanely difficult to attain body, it's still a level of progress that there is some and I'm not saying it's perfect representation, but at least there's something out there for, like women with more like back in the 90s, dude, you were like, if you weren't 90 pounds, people were like, oh, and now there's like a little something where it's like, oh yeah, you have kind of like, big thighs, and like, and that's still hot. And it's like that, it is good, like, as crazy as it sounds, that is progress, even though there's like a long way to go.
Yeah, that is definitely a step in the right direction, especially for my butt guys.
Hell yeah, dude. Thank you all for listening. Please subscribe to the Patreon. We're going to switch over to that, and we're going to release a pre-recorded episode tomorrow on there. Have a good one.
Have a good one, guys.